Listen. I spent my whole damn life in the city. Anywhere I go, DC's coming with me. I spent my whole damn life in the city. I can go for broke, but the capital is in me. I spent my whole damn life in the city. Anywhere I go, DC's coming with me. I spent my whole damn life in the city. I can go for broke, but the capital is in me.
Welcome, everyone, to District Divided, a DC sports podcast. I am Mammoth, that is K-Dot, and we are coming to you on a Victory Tuesday against the previously undefeated Philadelphia Eagles. They are now 8-1, crying their hearts out over there over some missed calls. And, oh, they played the Commanders. How could they lose? Whatever. I don't give a fuck. K-Dot don't give a fuck. We're here to just enjoy this Victory Tuesday together. K-Dot, how you doing, man?
Eagles tears taste great.
So good. So
amazing.
So good.
Actually, I'm thinking about what does the Eagle taste like? I kind of want a barbecue one. Is that against the law?
Well, but here's what I did want to say, K-Dot. First off, I do not believe it is against the law. Secondly, Philadelphia fans have been through the fucking ringer. I mean, once again, the Philadelphia Union, their MLS team, lose in just heartbreaking fashion. And just hours later on the same day, the Philadelphia Phillies lose to the Houston Astros. And now they go, you know what? We still have the Eagles. We're good. We're going to the Super Bowl. And then this happens.
Night, bitches. Night.
Every single thing we discussed as a key to the game, the Washington Commanders did. You know, the first few plays, it was rough, but then after that, what a game plan. So just to quickly recap, a 32-21 victory. The 32 is really 26. It was just the last play of the game where Casey Toohill got to get in and griddy in the end zone. But what a masterful performance. So K-Dot, why don't you walk me through your thoughts and reaction to the way the game unfolded and just the euphoria of winning?
It felt good. They stuck to the script. They didn't deviate, right? Like, what we said they needed to do on offense, they did to a T. We said that they had to run the ball, stick with the run. Like, if you look at Ryan Robinson's numbers, it was like 26 carries for 80-something yards. You look at it and say, oh, that's kind of rough as far as the average goes. But that's the thing. He's not the home run back. He's not the guy that's going to take it 80 yards to the house. What he is the dude that if you continuously go to him will put you in third and short situations, which get you to continue to roll with the offense or at least get creative with the offense. And Scott Turner, kudos, man. Best coach game that you've had maybe in your entire tenure here.
Absolutely.
He stuck with it. And what they were doing as far as a lot of moving guys in motion pre-snap kept the defense, like, honestly, they didn't know what was going to happen. And that was something that we've talked about since the beginning of the season. How do you utilize the weapons? Even though the ball's not going to them, putting them in motion, getting them lined up all over the field is enough to keep a defense at bay and at least give them that half a second of, what's going to happen? I don't know. And then you pull something out of hat. Great job as far as the game plan on offense. And Heinicke, I mean, we talked about it. We knew as far as the fumble real early in the game was like, oh shit, this might not be the promise to start we need, right? They go up quickly. And he has the one interception, which, I mean, most people say it was a fucking punt. I mean, and that's both punt a third down, but it was basically a punt.
We don't deeper pick. Down. It could have been worse.
Deeper pick. It could have been a much worse situation, right? So if you look at that and what he did as far as managing the game, they didn't ask him to drop back and throw the ball that many times. But majority of that game, you saw he never got panicked. And he did what he needed to do. The two best plays he has in that entire game is the one where you get the fucked up snap that he goes and recovers and throws it back to the line of scrimmage out of the pocket to prevent the loss of yardage on that set. Huge, real heads up, good play, guy. And then the play that seals the deal at the end of the game as far as the knee. He knew what he was doing. It was great. Like that's the thing is like he had this. We all know. Heinicke's not the guy that's going to beat you throwing 5 touchdowns. I think you were the one that said it, 5 touchdowns, 400 yards. It's not going to happen. But when you need the guy who might have the limitations when it comes to physicality, you have a team that ends up pulling out these wins despite his play sometimes. And he did what he could do to limit any of the negativity and be there in the best possible positive way to get the rest of the team going. And when you have the time possession work the way that it did, it only does what? Keep that defense fresh. And they need to be against Jalen Hurts and that guy. And that was the best overall defense performance I think we've seen of this team all season.
Because they didn't have to be on the field, like you were saying. We now lead the league in time of possession because of that lopsided victory in that statistic just yesterday. The defense, so you mentioned the offense. The defense, initially, you could see, okay, so the Heinicke fumble occurs, and they didn't really have a shot on that very first possession. So it's 7. And then it's 14. So you notice that is a cry for help. Right, because the first 2 possessions are touchdowns for Philadelphia. Offense, we need you to do something. And the offense delivered. Then what did K-Dot just say? Probably their best game all season on defense. It's because the different elements of the game complement each other. The offense complements the defense. And that's exactly what you saw there. A fresher defense. Oh, we can handle the Eagles if we're fresh. And you saw that. 4 turnovers. I'll exclude the last one for a moment. That's still 3 turnovers that we generated. And what do we say? Time of possession and turnover battle. If you are a double-digit dog, you need to win both categories. This team won both categories. Again, I'm ecstatic because, again, this was a Monday night masterclass on the road against a team that was expected to blow us out. Shout out Ridge, wear your helmet at with the lock of the week. He may have gotten the score wrong, but he certainly got the Commanders right. I mean, it was awesome. It was awesome. Awesome to see us win. And just to speak to Heinicke's performance, he did exactly what he was supposed to do in my eyes. And I believe he did exactly what he was supposed to do in Scott Turner's eyes, as well as Ron Rivera's eyes. Minimal mistakes, got the ball to Terry. On Terry McLaurin real quick. Dude is a bona fide superstar. Every single time he gets 10 plus targets, and Taylor's consistently giving him something around that. 8 targets, 9 targets, 12 targets now. I mean, the trust he has in Terry and Terry's ability to continuously deliver these last 4 weeks have just been the nation figuring out Terry McLaurin is an absolute dog. It's that simple. So we are playing to the strengths of our offense. Shout out Brian Robinson for carrying 6 Eagles, an extra 5 yards. And then the very next play, looking at the goal line, reaching out, touchdown. Heinicke was fired up. The whole offense was fired up. Gibby gets a touchdown as well. So, not only did they do well, but once again, just patting ourselves on the back. I rewatched the episode today just to be like, all right, what did we talk about? We hit everything. We hit just about everything. The issue I had was AJ Brown was player of the game in an Eagles victory, and he had 1 catch for 7 yards. So, I mean, look, just hats off to everybody involved. Absolutely everybody involved. Joey Sly. K-Dot. Talk to me about Joey Sly, my friend.
That's your play of the game, in my opinion. Joey Sly was play of the game. I mean, you get that 58-yarder with 2 inches left of space. Look, man, Sly, I've been saying this. For some reason, every time he goes up the kick, I haven't trusted him. This game changed that. It's Joey Sly, baby. He's here. He's a dude that he goes back there, and he ain't got to really worry about it. He got this. And that to me was he showed up last night, big time.
Oh, big time. I mean, once again, this was as perfect a game. Now, we did get a bit lucky, right? Dallas Goedert, he fumbled, but that was a whole lot of face masks that
clearly an egregious face mask.
Egregious. But on the flip side, there's the pass interference on St. Just, which I think was highly debatable. I think a lot of people, you see some of the major Twitter accounts going, nope, that's not PI. Like, can't believe that was called. There was also the questionable Jahan Dotson offensive PI where Aikman just didn't like it. He's a QB, so you would think he wouldn't like it to begin with. But there were calls in both directions that were sort of missed or were called and felt like we were wronged or they were wronged. I want to talk about that roughing the passer where Brandon Graham did hit Taylor Heinicke. Heinicke had his knee down. Brandon Graham had plenty of time to get out of the way. I don't know what all this, all the national media saying you can't end it that way. Well, Brandon Graham, fucking don't hit him. It's that simple. You don't want it to end that way? Don't hit him. You had plenty of time to figure that out. So if you want to blame anybody, national media, blame Brandon Graham. I know you don't want to. I know he's a vet in Philly. I know he's their captain. He's one of the best. Look, we got a lot of respect for him here on this podcast, but I mean, he even said it in post game. He was like, I need to be better in that situation. Did you have any problem with that roughing the passer call? Even from an unbiased perspective, I thought it was abundantly clear.
The roughing the passer, no, that was easy. He gave himself up. Look, it's not the same. Quarterback giving himself up is a little different than other things, right? Like there are levels to this. There's what you are as far as giving yourself up in the motion of a slide, where you are if you're behind the line of scrimmage and you kneel. What happens if you're in the middle of the field and you kneel? There are different varieties to it, but the big thing that we know is if the quarterback gives himself up behind the line of scrimmage, you don't touch him. That's it. Yeah. You leave him be. Blown whistle, it's dead, it's over. Graham had enough time to let it go. And as far as the penalties the rest of the game, look, man, it's the NFL. As long as the NFL has existed, there's a human element to refereeing. Do I want it to be different? Yeah. I think there's a lot of things we can do to automate this shit, right? But it ain't yet. And look, they were 8-0 going into this fucking game. You know, goddamn well, there's a lot of other teams on the other side of those fucking victories that are probably saying at some points, but a lot of those one-score games, if the ref called it, fuck that shit. Philadelphia fucking look. That's why I don't hate the Eagles anywhere near as much as I hate their goddamn fan base.
Sure.
And I'm sure what I should have did was listen to Philadelphia radio today, but I was probably just can't get past the complaining. Is they love to bitch about stuff, and that's just what it is. Well, and that's the thing. A lot of these national sports guys are from Philadelphia, so it always gains traction. Yeah. Fuck off. Fuck the fuck off.
Totally agree. I have a question, K-Dot. What lasted longer? The amount of time Brandon Graham had to stop before hitting Taylor Heinicke or Liz Truss being Prime Minister of the UK?
Toss up.
I think it is too. Yeah. I mean, he had so much fucking time. I can't understand. Like, I cannot understand how that was a discussion today at all. It was just mind-boggling to me. But anyway, just wanted to say shout out to the Commanders. I had a question for you.
What lasts longer? What what was Brandon Graham and the time he had as far as to stop, or how long Ridge wear your helmet at takes in bed with a Colombian chick?
That is a great question. I wish you were here to. I wish I had another apple to eat so I could just sort of throw that up. It probably is a toss-up. I would say it's probably a toss-up. I had a question.
Love you, buddy. Hate you too.
I had a question for you, K-Dot, which was when Tress Way got hit on that very first punt of the game, were you as pissed off as I was? Like, I literally jumped off my couch and was like, you don't fucking touch Tress Way. And I think it was a pretty universal amongst like Commanders fans going, okay, there are a lot of things you can do to our team, like a lot. But the one thing you don't do is touch Tress Way. Like, he is such a treasure amongst our fan base. I was just curious as to what your reaction was when the roughing the punter happened.
I love Tress Way, but I hate kicking in football. So there was a part of me that said that, like, hey, yeah, earn your spot. Earn your position, which is great. And he nailed it for the brand, right? Like, he took the hit, got up, kept it moving, and had a hell of a game the rest of the game. We barely had to call on him, really. But it's that to me was what you got hit. You took it like a real football player, son. And that's what I want to see.
Yeah. And he actually was called on a couple times with those snaps for Joey Slye.
Oh, yeah.
A couple of them were a bit high, and he brought them down really, really well. So, I mean,
even good, complete football game, son.
There's a reason he's, an all-pro. There's a reason he goes to these Pro Bowls. I mean, he's just an absolute stud.
He is the way.
He is the way. He is the way. Shout out Church of Tress Way over in DC Fantasy Football. Any final thoughts, kid? Sorry to all of you. This is a bit of a shorter episode. I'm a bit under the weather. I got a flight to catch very shortly here to India. And then K-Dot is recording another podcast.
I was kissing people of questionable taste down in New Orleans on the French Quarter. We know what was going on. We know what happened. We got it. Oh, they're just drinking and eating beignets. Boy got the COVID.
So much so that I had to flee to India. Yeah, exactly. Gosh, just put me on blast, K-Dot. Unbelievable.
We got to keep it honest here on the pod, man. No final thoughts, man. It was, I do. I guess if I say no final thought, and it's keep talking, it's final thought. This is the kind of game you have to have if you're Washington. It's a big victory. They followed the formula, and I'm very happy for everybody involved in this victory. You can't win like this every week, but you can always stay in anything. You can stay in any match if you put together a game that you did have this time. Taylor, step it up. Keep stepping it up, bud.
Yeah, all there is to say there. So for you, I mean, Ron Rivera has not announced it yet. If you're starting Heinicke or Wentz this coming week, who is it?
This week? It just depends on if Wentz is healthy. If he's fully healthy, I'm going Wentz. That hasn't changed.
Okay, so despite winning in Philadelphia, and I think this is what you said with Ridge, wear your helmet at as well, was if Taylor's the reason we win in Philadelphia. So basically you're saying you didn't feel he was the reason we won in Philadelphia, and therefore you would go Wentz if healthy.
He was net positive, not net negative, which is a step in the right direction, right? But the wild card aspect of it is, and you guys have talked about it ad nauseum, the guys play harder with him. That's the thing. It's not the quarterback play. I'm sorry, it's not. But it's the reason that the rest of the guys, you saw everything in the locker room. You saw everything as far as the plane ride. The guys play hard for this dude. There's no denying that. But I still think as far as a quarterback goes and the ability to make moves from the quarterback position, Carson's still a more talented guy. And I'm still going to rock with that because like I've said, I think this team is markedly better than it was the last time that Carson had. And when I say markedly better, it doesn't mean like we're Super Bowl contenders right now, but they're playing more consistent. We have an offensive line that's had a string of starts together, right? And the defense, especially since William Jackson has been gone, has played a lot better. Fuller is a lot better. Benny St. Juice has looked better. I mean, and they got the running game that they didn't have when Carson was last starting. So I'm just saying, I want to see it happen. And I think, Ron, you got to keep your mouth shut because right now I think him dancing around this shit might hurt more feelings than if he just shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Well, also, I'd be remiss if we didn't shout out DFoe, Darrick Forrest, for 2 different turnovers that he got. It would almost seem criminal to not mention what a great game he had. St. Just also had a really nice game, forcing one of those fumbles and having a number of pass breakups. Kendall Fuller had a couple of nice pass breakups too. So good to see the secondary.
Davis needs to keep his head on a swivel. Yes, after that face mask, I think there might be some guys gunning for him.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's also playing well. He's playing with supreme confidence right now. We should be getting Cole and David back shortly to help him out in the linebacking core. And Chase, Jesus, we didn't even talk about Chase Young. He is trending in the right direction. Should be coming back for this Houston Texans game. Let's jump over to the comment mailbag. Okay, so we have 3 comments this week, beginning with Tony. Shout out, Tony. I'm from PG County, joined the Air Force in 2007, and live in Charleston, South Carolina now. K-Dot, where are you at, bro? So that's the first question.
Oh, yeah. I'm guessing he did from the last. Oh, it was last. I was in Beaufort County, so just south of you, right near the Georgia line. I got close to saying Florida Georgia line. I fucking hate them. Yeah, basically where I stay is equidistant between Hilton Head and Savannah.
Okay. Gotcha. Cool. And then we got Carson has regressed. The line is not better. Taylor's elusiveness has masked the O-line weakness. Lamar Jackson has the most swag at QB. I believe you had said Joe Burrow has the most swag at QB. So there's a difference there. And then who's the artist in the intro? Well, that would be the Pauly Polo. Tony, that's an excellent question. His song, The District, I believe you can find that online on YouTube, either under Ponderosa Fun Club or Pauly Polo, The District. Either way, we'll throw it in the comment over here on this video or the description section. We'll do it there. Then we got 2 from Pally for Life. Shout out Pally for Life. Best podcast to date. The Ridge Where Your Helmet At appearance had me out of my seat. Love all of Ridge's predictions, although I'm a little disappointed we didn't get a Mercedes Lewis touchdown line. Hope the team plays fast and loose this weekend. We have nothing to lose, Monsieur X. All right. That's Pally for Life. First comment. Any reaction there, K-Dot?
No.
On to the second comment. Pally for Life. Post-game post, a PGP. This team just went to the link on Monday Night Football as 11-point dogs against an 8-0 Philly team that hadn't trailed in the second half all season. Not a single player blinked. Not sure what I'm looking forward to more, Victory Tuesday Shade Energy or Taylor's Green Jays. And by the way, Monsieur X, really appreciate all the comments here, guys. Taylor went on the Pat McAfee show earlier today and had mentioned that he may end up getting Jays for the entire offensive line. That's one way to make sure you start the coming Sunday, because Ron Rivera had also mentioned he's going to talk to the guys to see who he feels should start. And if that's the case, I'm willing to bet the O-line has a pretty strong opinion.
Never say that as a head coach.
That's what he said.
Terrible idea to say that.
That's what he said, because I don't think he wants the heat.
You take responsibility here and make the decision. You don't do that.
I'm telling
you, if you're going to
do
that, you don't admit it. I know, I heard it. That's all. It's fucking terrible idea to admit that as a coach. It's just not. It's not a good idea.
Well, it did happen, but I just wanted to say what is a great idea. Then I'm going to let you speak. Is listening to District Divided, this DC Sports podcast. I am Amit. That is K. If you enjoyed today's shorter episode, please like it. Please subscribe. Please share. Please comment. We really appreciate all you guys. K. I'm going to give you the final bit of airtime here. What were you going to say there?
I don't know. Something popped in my head from one of those questions. Yeah, the O-line's probably not. Yeah, it was the O-line thing. The O-line's not necessarily better, but it's the same guys. And you can at least act on it being the same guys, which helps a ton.
Yeah, but it's also an intriguing sort of question, right? I think
Taylor Heinicke absolutely does. He makes things happen with a bad offensive line that other guys can't do. If you have Lamar Jackson compared to Peyton Manning with a bad offensive line, one guy can do things and one guy can't necessarily do things. Okay, so, or I should say Peyton, because Peyton just.
I like the idea that we have Lamar Jackson and Peyton Manning as our two choices right now. It's very.
I'm just saying there are differences in what guys can do if shit breaks down. Taylor is he's an improviser, right? Like, shit just happens. You can see the game slows down for him, and he makes usually the right decision, right? Like, it slows down from him, and he doesn't get cool. He gets kind of cool. As a matter of fact, we talking about the swaggiest guy in the league. I actually think Taylor's on the field swagness is probably up there near Joe Burrow. Like, that's fucking dope. And the way he's got the guys rallying around him, very Joe Burrow-esque.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably off the field. Lamar Jackson probably got no swag.
No, fair enough. And so I would agree with Tony as well. He's incredible.
I'm up here in Baltimore. The dude he runs the city.
It is an intriguing sort of question. Would you rather, maybe people can answer this in the comments, and K-Dot, maybe you and I can discuss this on the next episode. Would you rather have a QB with a lot of the physical tools, ability to make those throws, but plays inconsistent football? Or would you rather have a guy that also plays somewhat inconsistent, but makes everyone around him seemingly better? It's that unquantifiable it.
Would I rather have Taylor Heinicke or Carson Wentz? The answer is Taylor Heinicke. I would absolutely rather have Taylor Heinicke.
But it's a lesser physical ceiling, of course, but mentally just seems to elevate everybody.
Here's the point. I want a Taylor Heinicke because I think that part of it matters. But what I also understand with having both of those guys is I'm not winning a Super Bowl with either one. So
we're on the same page.
I want one guy. I still want to see what this other guy looks at with some other stuff. But if it doesn't work out, I can kick him in the curb, put the other guy in. His feelings won't be hurt. And then, that's what I'm saying. There's no loss there, right? Carson goes in and he sucks it up. What did they say to Carson? Sit your ass back down the bench, boy. And then they put Taylor back. Taylor didn't give a fuck. Everything that Taylor said is like, I know I'm the backup, right? So, he comes in and Taylor can always just come back in. There's no real expectations from it. And then everybody be happy again. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying, you try Carson again. You can't.
I think you wait until Taylor loses a game, because right now there's a rhythm. You want to ride that as long as you can.
That's fair.
And the moment he loses a game, you have your excuse.
You beat the Eagles. We beat the Eagles. You're not going to hear. I'm not dying on this hill right now. It's not. I'm not being as aggressive as I have been the last few weeks. It's not going to happen.
Fair enough.
We are reaching that stint where these should be some wins coming through. So, Washington fans, as always, my motto: keep it fucking medium.
We'll see.
Let the team be more excited than us.
That's a good point. I think having beaten the undefeated Eagles on Monday Night Football at their place, we should be more medium moving forward. That's an excellent point.
Huge trap game for them, right?
Well,
overlooking these Commanders, right? Monday Night Football.
Guess what we may be doing?
Jalen Hurts just got the ESPN feature with Mike Vick and Donovan McNabb, and they overlooked it. I'm just saying. Do you think any less of the Eagles after this game?
Of course I do. Look at their fans. And I'm just kidding. No, I don't.
Yeah, the fans, of course. But it doesn't change my opinion on the Eagles.
I don't. I think they just had an off night, and we played near perfect football. But now you talk about a trap game. we've got Atlanta in 2 weeks, and next we have the Houston Texans. So K-Dot and I are going to try and produce that episode for you guys, as we always do, Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to have to do the math in my head. I'm going to need to see how the Wi-Fi is in India and stuff like that. But the plan is to continue, as we always do, and giving you guys these episodes. If they're not exactly Friday, 2 p.m. and Monday after or something, please bear with us. But just know the effort is there. Like, all this stuff is going with me. So that we can try and continue to
will be recording from a COVID ward after they deny him entry into the country.
Hey, so long as they let me use my microphone and the internet over there is fantastic in that COVID
as long
ward.
as you don't talk about the living conditions in the COVID ward.
Yeah, I'll literally call you and it's like, well, they only gave me they don't have access to the following websites over here, including ESPN. So I don't know the score. K-Dot, break it down for us. Like, what happened in this situation? No, by all means, not like that. It makes India sound much worse than it actually is. Pretty fucking
I was about
awesome.
to make an Indian porno joke, and I realized I know a lot more about Indian porno I want to let on.
And on that note, we will see you guys Friday, 2 p.m. for the Texans preview. Take it easy.
Bye, peeps.